Hi, I'm Donald with Steambrite Supply, and today we're going to talk about some power converters or power adapters. This is a real small assortment. What they're primarily used for is plugging into a customer's electric stove or oven outlet, sometimes a clothes dryer, sometimes the water heater outlet. There's about 6 different kinds of heads that they come in. The first thing you'll notice is some of the heads have an angled head to them, and that means that's 30 amp. And sometimes it's straight. So if you're straight on the common here, then that means that it's going to be rated for 50 amps. So for example, on this one, this is primarily used in older homes typically built before 1987. This is a 30 amp 3-prong, and this is a 30 amp 4-wire or 4-prong connector. There'll be a 4-prong 50 amp, which will have a straight leg, and then there's also a 3-wire 50 amp, which will be straight right here. When you are using these, they're going to come in either 4-gang. This is what they call a gang, so this would be a 4-gang or 8 outlet converter. Here's one that's a 2-gang. These have ground fault circuit interrupters on them. You can tell that because they'll have the little light on them. They'll trip in the event that you have a bleed over in your electricity, or maybe you're in a too wet of an environment. Here's a 2-gang unit, and then even a single gang one. And these can be built with and without circuit breakers on them, or with and without GFCI. Like here, you'll notice there's no ground fault circuit interrupter light or reset where this says reset or test on it. So that doesn't have that safety feature, but it does have circuit breakers built on it. This one has the circuit breaker on it and GFCI, so that would have your maximum amount of safety that you could get with a converter. Here, like on this one here, it's just the ground fault circuit interrupters, and it does not have any circuit breakers on it. We do make one that does have circuit breakers on it, but it's about twice as wide. It actually takes an 8-gang box to build it in, because by the time you add the circuit breakers and the power cord, it's quite a bit of wiring inside of it. A lot of times these are used in the restoration world to run your dehumidifiers on them. They're also used to run carpet cleaning machines. Sometimes like if you're getting a 2-corded carpet cleaning machine, you might want to consider a converter like this one. That way you can actually run up to 20 amps on this side, another 20 amps on this side. Now on this one here, you'd only want to run 15 amps on each one of these. And it's real important that you kind of know your equipment. And what I mean by that is you need to know how much electricity your equipment's going to pull on each power cord. You want to make sure that you don't overload it. The electrical codes state that when you're going to run something long term, you're not actually even supposed to go beyond 80% of what it's rated for. So if you have an outlet that's rated for 20 amps, if you're going to have something plugged into it for hours at a time, you're actually not supposed to plug anything in it past 16 amps. That's like if you're going to run a lot of dehumidification equipment on it. Now, a lot of times on stove and oven outlets, you'll notice that they're always going to have the 50 amp pin on the common side, which will be straight. And a lot of times if you're going to be doing a water damage job, we're going to recommend that you consider plugging in the stove or the oven before you plug into the dryer. That actually will put it on a separate, I don't think I really have time to explain it, but in the way the homes are built and the way they're wired is the stove and the oven are going to be on a separate breaker away from the main breaker. So if you're running your air movers around the individual wall outlets and you're running your dehumidifiers on the stove or the oven outlet, they're not on the same main. They're on different mains. Where if you plug in on the dryer, a lot of times the dryer plug is shared with your wall outlets on the same main, and that means you're more prone to trip the main breaker. Dehumidifier placement is more irrelevant than air mover placement. So you can place dehumidifiers in the kitchen and just put the blower motor to the on position, and that's going to circulate all the air in the house all the time, and you'll be able to get the home dry still. And check our website. We have more options on the 220 converters. There's plenty more to show.